Okay, I apologize. I read that too wrong. Isaiah 45, I read verse 23 and 24. I meant to read 22 and 23. So I'll reread it. Sorry about that. Look to me and be saved, all you ends of the earth, for I am God and there is no other. I have sworn by myself, the word has gone out of my mouth in righteousness and shall not return that. It shall not return, that to me every knee shall bow, every tongue shall take an oath. Okay, that's what God says in Isaiah chapter 45, verse 22 and 23. And if the listener is skeptical of whether or not Jesus Christ of the New Testament is the Lord of hosts from the Old Testament, is the Lord from heaven as this Bible claims that he is, compare Isaiah chapter 45, 23 with Philippians chapter 2, verse 9 and 10. And there are multiple instances like that. Okay. Now, so every knee shall bow to me and every tongue take an oath. Let's go to 1 Samuel, 1 Samuel chapter 5, verse 1 through 5. Anybody recognize that? 1 Samuel chapter 5, verse 1 through 5. Now this is the story of the Philistines. They had captured the Ark of God and brought it from Ebenezer to Ashdod. Okay, so from chapter 5, verse 2. When the Philistines took the Ark of God, they brought it into the house of Dagon and set it by Dagon. Now, that was a mistake. Dagon was one of their gods. And he was a god of the fields and harvest, I think. And was depicted by a half man, half fish symbol or statue or whatever. Okay. And when the people of Ashdod arose early in the morning, there was Dagon fallen on his face to the earth before the ark of the Lord. Every knee shall bow. And that's just like Goliath fell on his face to at the feet of King David, and that's just like Leviathan's going to fall on his face in front of Jesus when he returns. Okay, so they took Dagon and set him back in his place again. Verse 4, and when they arose early the next morning, there was Dagon fallen on his face to the ground before the ark of the Lord. And the head of Dagon and both the palms of his hands were broken off on the threshold. Only Dagon's torso was left of it. See, even idols are going to bow before Jesus. And I submit to you that every one of us are going to bow to Jesus. And every one of us are going to confess with our mouth that Jesus Christ is Lord. Some of us are going to do it like Goliath with a stone in the forehead. Some of us are going to do it willfully because we love him. Psalm 66. Psalms chapter 66. I mean, what else can he do? If that's the law of the universe, every knee shall bow at the name of Jesus, and every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. And if you're not willing to do that, then God help you. Psalm 66 verse 3. Say to God, how awesome are your works. Through the greatness of your power, your enemies shall submit themselves to you. Through the greatness of your power, your enemies shall submit themselves to you. Now let's go to James chapter 2, verse 29. Verse 19. James chapter 2, verse 19. If you believe that there is one God, you do well. Even the demons believe and tremble. Now remember, Leviathan, the covering cherubim, is made without fear. Okay, but the demons, the other fallen angels, they know that there's one God. They believe that there's one God, and they tremble. Okay. The angels are made with fear. But Leviathan doesn't fear God, or else he wouldn't be doing all this stuff. Okay. Mark 5, 1 through 15. Let's go see if we can see if these enemies submit themselves to Jesus. We already know that they bow down before him and they confess. Mark 5, 1 through 15. They confessed that Jesus was the Lord, just like the law of the universe says. Mark 5, 1 through 15. Then they came to the other country of the sea, to the country of the Gadarenes. And when he had come out of the boat, immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit, who had his dwelling among the tombs, and no one could bind him, not even with chains, because he had often been bound with shackles and chains, and the chains had been pulled apart by him, and the shackles broken in pieces. Neither could anyone tame him. And always, night and day, he was in the mountains and in the tombs, crying out and cutting himself with stones. When he saw Jesus from afar, he ran and worshipped him. He ran and worshipped him. Now the man himself didn't know Jesus. It's the demons that are in him that knew him. The demons are the ones that caused him to run over there and worship. And he cried out with a loud voice and said, the demon did, "What have I to do with you, Jesus, Son of the Most High God?" See, he confessed too that Jesus is the Son of God. "I implore you by God that you do not torment me." For he had said to him, "Come out of the man, unclean spirit." Then he asked him, "What is your name?" And he answered, saying, "My name is Legion, for we are many." Many of them were in this guy. Also, he begged him earnestly that he would not send them out of the country. Okay, so there's a large herd of the swine there, and he permitted him to go into the swine, and the demons went out of the man, and they went into the swine, and they ran off the cliff and drowned in the sea. And in verse 15, so the people that were tending to the swine went to town, and they told the people there, and they came out, and they seen, when they got to verse 15, then they came to Jesus and saw the one who had been demon-possessed and had the legion, sitting and clothed in his right mind, and they were afraid. See, Jesus had told him, come out of the man, unclean spirit. Now, if anybody is still skeptical whether or not demon possession has ever occurred or will ever in the future occur or is occurring now, pay attention, stick around. Now, Jesus had told him, come out of the man, unclean spirit. And then when the people got there, they found the guy that had been demon-possessed sitting and clothed in his right mind. That's what Jesus does. When someone from this category over here, the children of pride, when they come to their senses, and they look over here and they see Jesus, and they look to him as the author of eternal salvation, and they put their faith and trust in him, and they confess their sins to him, and they admit that they violated the moral law, they're sinners, and they ask for forgiveness, he sends out the old spirit. He commands, come out of the man, unclean spirit, and he puts the new spirit within them. Why else would he call it a new spirit if there wasn't an old spirit? We wouldn't have to be an old spirit to have a new spirit. Okay, that sounds logical, but let's go see if we can find that to be true in here. Okay. Now he had begged him; he would not send him out of the country, and so let's go to Luke 8:31, and we find Luke's account of the same event. And in 8:31, it's the same story, but in Luke 8:31, he said, and he begged him that he would not command him to go out into the abyss. To go out into the abyss. So you combine these two accounts, Mark's and Luke's, and what you see is that the demons are saying, hey, don't send us out of the world and into the abyss. Or out of the man and into the abyss, out of the country. Send us out of the man and into the swine. But don't send us out of the man and out of the world and into the abyss, out of the country, all the way into the abyss. Don't do that. They're afraid of that abyss. And I submit that we all need to be afraid of that abyss. Okay, let's go to the next clip.